Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar session, Using Technology to Manage Your AWP Education and Training Program with O3. My name is Tori Reed, Marketing Manager for O3 Solutions. For those of you who may be new to us, this is a monthly webinar series hosted by O3 Solutions, an agile project management SaaS software solution that is built on advanced work packaging framework. We'll have a brief question and answer session after the presentation via the chat on our website, www.o3.solutions. Every registered attendee will receive a copy of today's presentation slides and a link to the recording via email within 2 business days. We will also post today's webinar recording on our website along with previously recorded events that you might want to check out in our education library. First, I'll introduce Anne, and she'll go over our safety moment, and then she will highlight technology that can be used in O3 to help with your education and training management programs. And as mentioned, following the presentation, we will have a Q&A on our website at www.o3.solutions. Now I'd like to take a moment to introduce our speaker. Anne has over 15 years experience in enterprise-level software across nonprofits, healthcare, transportation and logistics, and industrial construction. She has trained and consulted thousands of end users on new processes and software applications. She is also O3 Director of Client Success Team. Thanks for joining us today, Anne, and sharing how our clients are using technology for their education and training management programs to implement AWP. At this time, I will turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you, Tori. Great to be here. I don't know about you guys, but my husband and I are spending as much time as possible outside these days, and that means grilling. Many of my friends and colleagues are just now getting out of the snowy season and are grilling for the first time, so I thought it would be good to present a few reminders. Be sure that you keep in mind these safety practices as you start grilling so that you can prevent starting a fire or getting burned. So big thing to remember, especially if you haven't grilled in a couple of months, please thoroughly clean your grill before you fire it up. Grease buildup is a major cause for outdoor grill fires. Also, while it's tempting to be distracted and to talk to people and multitask, please do not just leave the grill by itself. Be sure someone's manning it at all times. Don't walk away from it as you're cooking your food, but also as it's cooling down. That is really all I have, and you'll be able to look at a couple of other tips here as you receive the slides after this presentation. Before we dive in, I would like to share a few assumptions going into this webinar. First, today's training environment is different than it was even a few months ago. Almost everyone is working from home, virtually, away from the office. This means you guys have to rethink how you roll out and monitor training if your attendees are now going to be remote for the foreseeable future versus face-to-face. But it's actually a good time to restructure training programs because a lot of our companies have their training courses on hold, so time to rethink and revamp. Second, I want to make sure that you guys know that we know most of you have some sort of learning management system or LMS to support your core university programs. We are not trying to replace those systems, but rather complement them with a very lightweight registration process, easy tracking, and a reporting solution. If you've ever worked with an LMS solution like I have, you know that they can be very bulky, very difficult to use, so we don't want someone to have a doctorate in training management to be able to manage simple courses. Third assumption, even if you're not yet delivering AWP or complex process training, you're doing some sort of training. Manual processes are simply not good enough, not even for basic certifications. And there's no reason in this day and age to rely on manual processes when there are some really good digital options available out there. Now that we've covered the assumptions, let's quickly review why we care about training and what are some of the common challenges that you guys might face. Learning a new process like advanced work packaging or something hip like agile project management can be really daunting, especially in an organization where you have multiple stakeholders, disciplines, different skill sets, different responsibilities, and also different technical competencies. In these circumstances, people are not just learning how to use a drill or how to push a button. They're learning a new way of thinking and a new way of collaborating. Additionally, it is difficult to understand where you are in a training journey if all of your course tracking is manual on spreadsheets. You have manual methods for prerequisites and requirements, which can be tricky, and sequencing is an additional challenge. And then also if you have unclear or undefined training metrics. And I think it goes without saying, but if you don't have experience as a training manager, then this can also seem really daunting. The good news is you do not have to have a ton of LMS or training management experience to use the O3 tool. So we're going to take a look at it in just a second, and it starts with ONCourse. ONCourse works for companies of all shapes and sizes that need assistance with course management, training for new processes, or if you just need a digital remote training solution. Now let's take a deeper dive into the functions our customers and our internal client success team are using to manage trainings. The first step is setting up the backend. Okay, let's orient you with the backend a bit. It's broken down into 3 components: titles, courses, and learning paths. A title is just a type of course offering that can be global for all of your users, or maybe it's as niche as one specific contractor. Think of titles as a menu of offerings that can take place once, or it can take place many times. So for example, a typical course we see with our customers is Workplace Planning 101. So now you see the second piece. Now that you have the title set up, you have some other options that you can set up on the back end to help control things like the sequence and prerequisites. This is really important if you're implementing something new and complex like AWP. You're going to have multiple training sessions. I wish we could just sit in a room for 60 minutes and learn about AWP, but it doesn't work that way. So let's look at an example of maybe a workplace planner. They've never done any AWP before, so they might need a one-on-one introduction. They might need path of construction and IPP training workshops, and they might need additional classes on creating IWPs per discipline. So with here, you can see you have the ability to set up different groupings where you can place courses, and this will sequence out the order in which all of our workplace planners have to take their training. So first they'll complete the first couple of 101 courses, and then they'll be able to register for 202 courses. So this is really nice because if you're managing this on a spreadsheet, you would have to really understand and manually track what people are doing, what they've already taken, whereas our software system will halt somebody and say, nope, you cannot take the 202 course until you've officially taken the 101 course. So it just keeps you from throwing somebody in the wrong place. Good news, if you have a lot of courses to set up, you do not have to set up prerequisites manually. You can import these into O3 for a swifter configuration if you have a ton of courses. Another couple of things on here to point out, you'll see the days to complete. So you have the option here to make sure people are not, that they have enough time to go ahead and sign up and take that course, but they're not taking their sweet time. Once all of these listings are in place, then you can create the individual courses or instances with specific criteria. Let's look at that first circle right there, plant field. This drives what people are able to see in case you're rolling out a global AWP training program that spans multiple facilities. Or you might have a specific maybe safety or technology training that only takes place at one plant and no one else needs to be able to see it because it's not applicable to them. The next circle, capacity, this obviously limits your registration, and the enrollment lock allows registration to become unavailable close to the start time. So there, in this instance, you cannot register within 24 hours of the start time because maybe there's, some preparation we need to do, or maybe there's a reach out we want to do with each attendee before they come to the course. The note section at the bottom is totally open. This allows you to add details about the course or even supply a link to another site. So one of our EPC customers who's using this part of the product really well is using the notes section to add pre-reads for the courses. They'll input the link to their LMS system that contains slides and short videos. And this is really awesome because users can get a head start on the material instead of going into any kind of training cold. And that is it for setting up the backend. It's really, really simple. So now that we have that configured, let's look at how to register for a class. There are two options for course registration. Let people do it on their own, or have a training administrator or a teacher manage registration. And naturally, like anything else in O3, you can manage who has the permissions to be a training admin. For a lot of our customers, they allow users to register for the courses that they want based on their schedule. So again, going back to our work-based planner, I might have that one-on-one course 7 times in the next 3 weeks. And so let that person go in and register for whatever works for their schedule. So that instance works well if there's a lot of options for the same course and the timelines are open. But you might also have a wave of new people all being trained at the same time. Courses are limited. And in that case, it makes sense to have an O3 training admin just register those people and then send out an email or communicate the schedule to them. So we're going to look at this from a couple of vantage points, starting with the end user experience. So this is the do it yourself, and it's very simple. Users will log into O3 and then go to My Training in the menu bar. For My Training, they can search for a course. And from here, that means entering a keyword, or you can just be lazy, click the drop-down list and peruse through all of the options. O3 will show only the courses that are available for this person's plant or facility. Once they select a course title, all of the open options that still have seats available will show. All I have to do is click Enroll, and that reserves my spot. Users cannot register twice because that would just be rude. Also, in the My Training view is the ability to print certificates for any of the courses that have been completed. So now your coworkers will know that you are legit. All right, so that's one way for me to look for courses through My Training. But we also have this handy dandy calendar view that is a lot more interactive. This way users can see the blocks of training that are available for a certain week or a certain month and then click into the details before they register. Users open a course from the calendar to view the details, and this is what they see. To enroll, all they have to do is click Enroll, and then from there, they can add to a calendar or they can withdraw. Pretty simple stuff. For the Add to Calendar, this will download an Outlook invitation complete with all of the meeting details, including any pre-read links that you put in the notes section. So be sure that notes section is well thought out because it goes on the Outlook. Now let's shift to the option where an administrator is registering a person or group of people for a course. So that same calendar drill down will look the same for an admin, but when they click into it, you can see that they have more visibility down to the enrollment. I can see every single person that is enrolled for a course as an admin. And then I have the power to override them, and I can withdraw them from the course, or I can enroll a person if maybe I'm on the phone chatting with them, and that's just a good service for me. This is also the area where I can control who completed and did not complete a course, and this feeds directly into our reporting. Some other features that you'll see on the side is the email capability. So we have the ability to shoot over an email to everybody or to just one person. And then we also have the ability to remove somebody if they don't need to take that course. Okay, so we're at the final step in the process, guys, and that is measuring our training results. Like all other areas of O3, users can create their own training dashboard using pre-configured widgets. My go-to is the training statistics widget because it comes with the 4 stats that I care about the most. It has total users that registered for a training, total users that completed a course, and total users that completed multiple courses. So having this widget gives me a really quick overview of the program overall. Other popular widgets that our customers use is the training completion bar chart, which you can group by course or by company. So this allows our users to see which contractors are completing each type of course and who might be behind. As a bonus for our current O3 users, we are rolling out a training dashboard template complete with all of these widgets that you see here. So you don't have to build it, it comes out of the box. Finally, training administrators can generate a quick list of users that enrolled in or completed courses and then export that data for easy sharing. And as with all other areas of O3, this export can be configured specifically for you by just rearranging the columns to your liking. And guys, that's all it takes to set up, register, and report on training. Pretty easy, right? Before we conclude, we definitely want to share a few best practices and lessons learned as we are running our own internal training programs and also helping our customers out. As you begin planning and setting up the program in O3, please consider these user onboarding processes. Number one, use a training site first so users can play in the software without any consequence or worry. You can issue a login and the access to just the training site until they have completed training. Number two, make a rule that users have to complete structured activities in that training site before they're issued a live site login. So basically just treat the technology like the field does. No one's allowed to pick up a tool till they complete their standard safety courses. So why would you let somebody push buttons in your production site if they haven't gone through their training? Third, and we really do love hearing from you guys, our happiest users have an on-site person at your company that is dedicated to level 1 training support. Believe me, you guys need to know if someone is struggling with the basics like registering themselves for a course or navigating the O3 platform. If they're really weak on the technology side, you probably want to know that and work with them and help set them up for success before tossing them into an advanced workplace planning course. You need to know who these non-tech savvy people are before they walk into that training. And let me tell you, that is one of the biggest lessons learned that I had in one of my prior roles, was really making sure that I knew who those folks were that needed some extra attention. But of course, guys, we're always here to help. We love talking to our users, but I'm telling you, they really want to have that face-to-face person and go to you first before they come to O3. In conclusion, using O3's on-site solution, training admins can quickly set up a training program, manage registrants, and report on the results. And with that, Tori, I'll turn it back to you for some questions.
Thank you, Ann, for your presentation. At this time, we'll moderate any questions you may have via www.o3.solutions on our chat feature, and we'll address as many as we have time for. But first, Ann, we've got a couple questions here. So the first one is, if you're in the middle of a training program, can you enter historical data?
Yes, you can import historical data, and the way that that works is you need to create that list of users in the software, make sure the courses are already set up on the back end, and then you should be able just to import that data that shows who completed what. Right now, a lot of people are handling historical data manually, but you can also turn on our API, and then that would automate the routine data import process.
Okay, great, thanks. And then one more, how can you manage required versus non-required training?
Yes, very good question. So that's not something we really went into in this webinar, but yes, there is an option for required training for attendees. That is something that the training admins would be controlling on the back end. So if you remember, we talked about the learning paths where you can set up the sequence and set up the courses. That guides what is required for either one or many users, whoever the training admin decides to associate with it. So if a person has required training set up by a learning path, then all they have to do is go search for the course that they want to sign up for that's time and date. But then the system's keeping track of what they've actually completed, and they can't enroll for something without completing a prerequisite course.
All right, and then a final question here, can learning paths be user specific?
Yeah, so if you're talking about the ability to have a learning path for, say, a work-based planner, absolutely. So again, goes back to the training admins. They can choose which users are assigned to each learning path. And this is not something a general user would be able to do because it's likely, kind of like we talked about before, tied back to some kind of required training or sequence.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Anne, for that great presentation and answering our questions. And that looks like all the time we've allotted for today. But again, please contact us if you'd like more information or have other questions. Thanks again, Anne, and thank you to everyone who is able to join today's webinar. You will receive a recording in the final presentation slides soon. We invite you to join us for our next monthly webinar, Purpose-Built Software for Owners and Operating Facilities, on Wednesday, June 24th at 11 a.m. We appreciate your time and hope you have a wonderful remainder of your day.